Iran delivered a secret message to Donald Trump, and it was a fatal message, and Donald Trump went silent shortly thereafter. You'll recall that just 24 hours after Donald Trump met with Netanyahu, and while Netanyahu was with Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, Donald Trump wanted to be a tough guy. So Donald Trump called state regime media, which calls itself Fox, and he said, "I am going to blow up the effing S word out of Iran. I'm going to blow them the F up. You wait and see." So Iran responded. And they said to Donald Trump, both through private communication channels and through actions, "If you do that, we are going to teach you a lesson. We know your strategic petroleum reserves have been depleted. We know that your precision munition stockpiles, bye-bye, are depleted. You want to see our capabilities, Donald?" And this was the message that Iran sent. "We control the Strait of Hormuz. You can have CENTCOM claim that you control it, but you don't. Try to get a tanker to leave, Donald, through the Oman South route. Let's see what happens. We control the Bab el-Mandab Strait. We'll let some tankers go by for now, but we could shut that down at will. You saw what the Houthis were able to do with multiple Saudi Arabian tankers in the past 7 days. Yeah, we could do that at will if we want to. And wait till we activate our capabilities in Somalia." But here's what Iran said as well. "Which port city should we hit, Donald? How about we hit Egypt?" And it wasn't just one ship, which we reported yesterday, that we now know that Iran struck in this port city of Egypt. Iran struck 2 ships in this port city, and it was part of a message that Iran was sending to Donald Trump. It was also part of a message that China's foreign minister Wang Yi has been sending to Rubio. You do not have the cards, Donald. Yep, in the Egyptian Mediterranean port of Damietta, not 1, but 2 liquefied natural gas ships were hit very hard by Iran. And people were like, "Oh, who hit these ships?" The U.S. wanted to make it very quiet, but people obviously in Damietta saw what was going on. And we now know through this New York Times article what we were suspecting. Top Iranian officials told the New York Times that we did this to send a message that at our will, Iran will be able to escalate and bring this war to port cities beyond the Hormuz Strait, beyond the Bab el-Mandab Strait, that the Iranian drone capability, the FPVs, the Shaheeds are here to stay and back the hell down. Now, Donald Trump, after saying that he was going to blow Iran the F up, "I'm going to blow the effing S out of them," while you had Netanyahu there with Hegseth, both of them showing their shit-eating grins, Donald Trump had to do something. So CENTCOM indeed announced that they were conducting some strikes of Iran, but it was not the strikes that Donald Trump threatened earlier, and it was cowardly. It was hitting certain civilian infrastructure in Keshem. It was hitting, I mean, look at this. Iran state media Fars claims that these are photos of a residential house in Keshem Island that was hit by the U.S. Iran state media Tasneem talks about power outages in some parts of Ahaz after a U.S. missile attack taking place there. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump had Elon Musk ban Tasneem and all of its affiliates from X, banned from formerly Twitter, now X, and Tasneem was publishing some of the video footage and the photos of the satellite imagery of the U.S. bases that were hit hard by Iran, and that led to Elon Musk banning the Tasneem account. So much for transparency there. But folks, don't worry. CENTCOM is out there claiming the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz and telling the tankers, "Go, tankers, go." Now, I want you to pay attention to a lot of the developments taking place behind the scenes as well. What meeting happened yesterday as well? What meeting happened? Well, you had the Saudi defense minister, Prince Khalid bin Salman, MBS's brother, meeting with J.D. Vance. And it was significant to me that this meeting took place with J.D. Vance, telling him that even though Saudi Arabia and the U.S. struck Iranian militias in Iraq, by the way, killing over 20. The Saudi defense minister, according to this leak to Axios, which I think is noteworthy as well, because Axios is Donald Trump's personal stenographer masquerading as a news entity. They have some good reporters, but Barack Ravid basically just spouts out whatever Donald Trump is saying. Axios has saying that Prince Khalid, the brother of MBS, said that Saudi Arabia wants to de-escalate with Iran, not widen the war. In other words, you know, all those quid pro quos that we're doing with Jared Kushner and you, Donald, and Witkoff and everybody. Yeah. You know what? You're screwing over Saudi Arabia's economy right now. These Houthis in Western Yemen, they've got our number. They can hit our refineries at will. This past week, they hit 3 refineries, and the Houthis are like, that's a warning shot as well. We could blow up all your refineries if we want. Is that what you want? The week before, 3 to 4 Saudi tankers. This past week, 3 refineries. And Saudi Arabia is like, we can't stop that. So Saudi Arabia went after the Iranian militias in Iraq because they figured, well, geopolitically, you know, we'll get less of a response over there because technically the Iraqi military is controlled by, really, it's run by the United States. It's kind of a puppet at this point based on the way the United States government basically funds Iraq. But you have the Iranian militias within the Iraqi army. And so that's why that Zaidi meeting with Donald Trump was significant. Remember that Donald Trump sent the Iraqi prime minister to try to do a peace deal with Iran, and Iran's like, we have no interest in doing a peace deal because Trump is incapable of doing a deal, is the Iranian assessment. They're like, even if we wanted to do a deal, you can't do a deal with Donald. He's incapable of keeping it. He's a psycho. I mean, I told you previously, Iran has diagnosed Donald Trump as being actually psychotic, not just malignant narcissist. What we all know, that he's clinically psychotic. So Iran's like, we can't negotiate with a literal psychotic person. So all they know is strength. So we just got to go power, 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 crush the U.S. economy, deplete their strategic reserves, cause the treasury yields to go crazy high to make it impossible for Americans to afford things. Wait this out past the midterms, allow there to be investigations into Donald Trump's unlawful conduct and catastrophic conduct that he's been engaged in all of this time. Let the U.S. strategic, not just petroleum reserves, but munitions dwindle. And that's, you know, basically the plan. And just, this is for Iran. They can go 18 months to 2 years right now with what they've got. And they're betting that the U.S. won't be able to last another 3 months with the current political environment, with Donald Trump at an all-time historic low for any president and getting lower as he's lost the MAGA base, as the American people despise that vile creature in the Oval Office. You saw the latest polling. I'm going to do a video on it later today, but he's net -8 for non-college educated white men, net -8 on non-college educated white men. So with all of this taking place, with Donald Trump getting that warning, he goes silent. He wakes up, I'm going to blow the effing shit out of them. Blah, 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 blah. Iran's like, look at the Egyptian port. Next. Look at Bab el-Mandab. Next. Look at your munitions. Next. So what does Donald Trump do? He just starts, you know, shit posting all night. This is the pattern. This is the pattern. Last night, you know what, he reposts Abe Hamadeh, congressman now, MAGA. Only low IQ people don't understand why Donald Trump is so invested in making Washington beautiful and respectable again. He's made buildings beautiful again by restoring them. He's gilding gold on statues and adding even more of them. Only low IQ people, shut the hell up. Oh, you low IQ people. You know what Americans feel right now? Why the hell are you talking about gilding golden freaking horses when you're ripping away the health care of Americans? When you're taking away people's lives here and making millions of Americans die when Americans can't afford their rent, they can't afford mortgage, they can't afford anything. They open up their fridge, maybe they've got 2 items and they have to go, am I going to be reduced with 1 item next week? What the hell is going on? And why the hell are these people in DC, these MAGAs, gilding golden freaking horses and talking about golden ballrooms and getting us involved in never-ending wars with Netanyahu while Pete Hegseth is like slobbering over him like a dog in heat? The hell are we doing here? Then Donald Trump posts the following as well. Does anybody have any idea how much money and prestige the United States Supreme Court has cost our nation? Projection alert. By the way, the Supreme Court is absolute trash. But Donald Trump disagrees with them. Donald Trump wants them to fully endorse his fascist agenda. They've only endorsed it 85 to 90% of the time. But you give Donald Trump an inch, he takes your life. So he's whining that they're not fascist enough for him, even after granting absolute immunity and engaging in all these, taking away Voting Rights Act rights, taking away environmental protections. Seriously, this is heinous. That's what he's posting. And then he reposts Tim Pool. Amy Coney Barrett is clearly terrified of the left. What are you talking? Amy Coney Barrett, very terrified of. That's what I wake up and I go, Amy Coney Barrett, terrified of the left. NBC reporting what we've been reporting now for weeks. Trump is exasperated on Iran as top officials can't agree on strategy. Apparently, when we go, he's panicking in the Oval Office, and you know how people are like, oh, you're being hyperbolic. He's not really panicking. Why are you saying he's panicking? Okay, when corporate news says he's panicking and he's throwing things and he's yelling at people, is that enough for you to believe our frame that he's actually panicking and losing control? I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is a nightmare situation, and sure, it sounds hyperbolic, but what can you do when you have a complete psychotic maniac in there who's behaving a certain way and you're trying to capture accurately what's going on? So you have him screaming at his military general, screaming at officials in the Oval Office. Meanwhile, you've got this guy who's just completely torched the reputation of CENTCOM. And all of my top military contacts say that this guy, Brad Cooper, is the biggest clown imaginable. And I've got sources and friends who are some of the top retired military people. I mean, you can imagine the people that we're speaking to right now about this stuff. And they say this guy, Brad Cooper, has brought so much shame and so much disgrace to CENTCOM, and that he's like a pathetic little weasel and they all hate this guy. And he's like just a stupid liar. He just speaks in MAGA talk of, oh, the blockade is working so well that we control the strait. Come on, tankers. Come on out, everybody. We're doing good. I mean, did you see Congressmember Crow cross-examine him like 90 days ago? That was 90 days ago when Cooper looked horrible. We should have more Brad Cooper showing up in the House so we can get cross-examined and see what a fool this guy is. And he's out there saying, Donald, I got a great plan for you. Let's escalate more. We should do 12 more days of very damaging bombing. And so you've got this conflict right now where you've got Cooper saying more bombing, but then you've got Dan Raisin Kane, the guy who wasn't qualified to become the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and had to get a waiver because Hegseth and Trump wanted to fire and did fire and push out C.Q. Brown Jr., the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs back in 2025, because they didn't want a black guy to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. They did it for racist reasons. They pushed out the guy who was the 4-star general and qualified. And then they brought in the 3-star who had to get a waiver. But Kane, at least Kane is saying to Trump, don't listen to Cooper. Cooper's saying, let's go, because Cooper looks like an utter fool. So he wants to now prove himself by escalating further. And Iran's just sitting back like, yo, what the hell has happened to the United States of America? What the hell is even going on here? So hopefully this puts this in context for you. So when Donald Trump is asked by a reporter, what can you tell us about the tanker attack in Egypt? Here's what Trump said.
On the attack, the drone attack on the LNG tanker off of Egypt, What can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran related? Does it represent a wide?
I'll give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out.
Notice the answer right over there. I've been briefed on it. Yeah, you've been briefed that was a warning signal to you. You escalate. Iran's coming after you in other ports as well. Oh, well, what about Xi Jinping providing military equipment like those man pads over to Iran? What about China providing weapons? I'd be disappointed. I'd be really disappointed in that. Listen to what Trump says.
President Xi told you that China would not give or sell Iran any weapons. And there's a new report that Iran's about to get 400 rocket launchers from China going through Pakistan to Iran.
Well, that would be surprising. I mean, things like that happen, but that would be surprising. He told me very strongly he wouldn't partake, and he knows I'd be quite disappointed.
You'd be disappointed in that. Now, what are they trying to do on state regime media? Because this is a mess. The economy's a disaster, never-ending wars, inflation is surging. This is bad, bad, bad. So they made this about Dr. Fauci. It's Dr. Fauci's week. But when they're attacking Fauci, they're literally describing Donald Trump. Watch as Josh Hawley says, there's nothing lower than getting rich while people are suffering. Play this clip.
Think about this. 1 million Americans died. And what was Anthony Fauci doing at work? Anthony Fauci was out trying to get awards for himself, taking $1 million in money. It was illegal, Sean. It was illegal to solicit that money. He did it anyway. That's yet another of his crimes. And I mean, there is nothing lower than that. Getting rich while other people are suffering and dying.
Or Howley saying, only guilty people plead the fifth. Let's play it.
But it was wrong what he did today. He did not have the right to do it. I think we should hold him in contempt. And Sean, here's just a little hint to viewers at home. Innocent people don't invoke the fifth. Fauci invoked it 111 times. You draw your own conclusion.
Oh, that's interesting because Donald Trump pled the fifth over and over again. Remember during Donald Trump's depositions in New York? Let's play it.
For all of the above reasons, I respectfully decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the United States Constitution. This will be my answer to any further questions.
Mr. Trump, the focus of our investigation and what we are primarily going to cover today involves the presentation of your statements of financial condition between 2011 and the present. I take it you are generally familiar with those statements. Is that correct?
For all of the reasons provided in my answer, which is incorporated herein, in its entirety, I decline to answer the question.
I'll leave you with that note right there. By the way, have you gotten your copy yet of WTF America? Get your copy of it's the book I wrote with my brothers. It comes out October, but pre-order it now. There's a QR code somewhere over here. I'm like a weatherman. There's a QR code somewhere. Hit the QR code, get your copy now. It helps us know where we should do our book tour and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Shout out Midas Mighty. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.